So carrying on, this is where we left off with our basic arm rotation. I'm going to start going up through the hips and through the spine to start refining this animation. So one of the things I want to do first actually is on this down frame, I'm going to get this front leading foot, and what we're going to do is we're going to flatten this straight down. So as we're going into this passing position, I want this foot down earlier. We want that down basically to give our character more stability. The sooner we get this foot down, the sooner we're regaining our balance before we push up. So on frame 4, I'm going to go into my channel box. I'll go into my foot roll and we'll just zero that out. So we're just planting that foot a lot more quickly. So before we're doing that frame 8, that going down, it's now going down 4 frames before. I'm going to do exactly the same on this foot, my left foot, on frame 20. So again, after my contact, on my down, let's go in, let's get that foot roll, set that to 0. And we're just getting a more definite hit on the ground. So that's our first refinement. Let's go through to the hips now. So with the hips, on our passing position, we favour our weight over our planted leg. So right now this is our leg. This is actually overbalanced. So what I need to do is just pull this over. Just so the weight of the hips is a bit more over this leg. So we're just bringing our weight up over there. Okay. 60. On our frame 24, I'm just going to bring this over the other way. And I shouldn't need to do anything on frame, in fact, let me just take this back to 32. There we go, that's okay. Just while I'm working on it, I want to be able to grab that frame 32. So it's kind of a subtle thing. But we've just got a bit of sideways motion in the body now as we're just balancing out the hips. If I was to look at this in my front view, I might put the grid on here as well. So this is my center line. So you can see here we're in the center of the frame. Frame 8, you can see we're just going over to one side of the frame. 16 centered. Frame 24, again we're just going to one side of this. So we can use this grid line to check our balance here. So a couple of other things on this then. What I can do is we can also grab the hips. I'm going to do quite a lot with the hips on this. I'm going to go to my passing position. I'm going to rotate my hips. In fact, I'll leave them where they are. I'll do this with the spine, so I'll leave that for now. But what we do want to do is start rotating these hips. So let me just go to my side view here and grab these hips. So in our contact position, our hips sort of cycle round to favour the leading leg. So rotating the whole body here. Okay. We go into the middle position. Then frame 16, we want to go the opposite way. And then again, I'm going to take this frame on 0, copy that, and let's paste. So again is the shoulders twisting now with that. Just look at that from the front. And just from the perspective there. Okay. So other movement into the hips. Again on this contact position. We kind of rotate a bit back from the hips as well. So they sort of lean out a little bit down from those hip movements. So this is on my, if I'm looking at this, let's have a look. So my rotation here. It's actually moving a couple of frames, a couple of different rotations there. But just on what is going to be our Z axis. And again, I can do that on the other contact position the other way. And finally, let's grab this keyframe here, copy this, and paste that up to there. Okay. So we've got a lot more motion in the hips now. Again, let me just take a look at this. And we can do a play blast on this as well. Let's go into my perspective. Another thing I can do when I'm doing a play blast is we can actually switch off all the control objects. So if I go in and just hide the NURBS curves, we have a shortcut for that, Alt-1. Again, we can get a good sense of what's happening with this. So let's bring this down. Let's scroll down. I'm going to set this to 04. Now let's play blast that. Let me put this on loop again. So we're starting to get a bit more personality in here. A bit more realism into it. One of the issues we are having though, let me close this down, is as we're rotating, if I go into the front view, as we're rotating our hips more now, what's happening is the rest of our body is rotating with it. And actually what I want to do is counter this hip movement in the shoulders. So essentially, if, let me show you an example, if I just get my grease pen or grease pencil. So this is a really useful tool to plan out poses and things to see how things are working. If I also, you can go into view, camera tools, and there we've got the grease pencil. So I can go in, this is just in frame 0. I can just add a keyframe, because we can actually animate this as well. I can add a frame and then we can get our grease pencil. So we've got soft pencil, we've got a marker, and we've got a pencil itself. So just because I'm showing this initially. So what's happening here is our hips sort of going that way. We want our shoulders going that way. Okay, so we want the opposite of what's happening all the time within our shoulders. So let me just get rid of that frame and just hide that. So everything we do with our hips, we essentially do the reverse of with our shoulders. So let me just grab the move tool again. So here our hips are moving this way. Know this because we've got this kind of motion here on our hips. So we want our upper torso, and let me just go in and just Alt 1 again, just to bring back my control objects. I want this upper torso to go the other way. So I want this to essentially rotate that way. But rather than just rotating one of these spine links, I'm actually going to rotate a couple. So I'm going to use my Q tool, grab those and grab that. And then I'm going to rotate the spine the opposite way. And what I'm looking for here, in fact, let me do this in this viewport. I'm looking to recenter this head. So it's looking a bit more forward again. So something like that. So let's set a keyframe there because I've not touched the spine yet. I can also set that keyframe on the last frame. So S there. And then on my frame 16, I want this to be the opposite. So something like that. Okay. Again, because I've got the hips rotated up here, that way, I can have the shoulders, and let's just do these top two. I'm going to give these a bit of rotation this way. Let's exaggerate a bit first of all. So let's make sure we have that keyframe there. And then the other way. And I will just grab this first keyframe here and just copy this. And let's paste that across. So basically I'm recentering the head on all of these stages. So if I just play that out. We have a lot more movement down the spine. It's a lot more fluid. The hips are better. The shoulders work better. We've got a better movement in the head as well. Okay, so let me grab this and let's do a quick play blast. Again, I'll just Alt 1. Right click, let's do a play blast. Change this to 5. And let's just loop this round. So if I was to take this, let me just grab these play blasts. So let's have a look at this one. Compared to this one. A lot nicer motion on this one, okay? So just those rotations within the hips and spine can add a lot to your animation. So I'll finish this video here. In the next thing we'll start adding a bit more weight and drag onto the character itself. So looking at our follow through and anticipation in terms of our principles.